안녕하세요. 엔잡러입니다. 테슬라 관련 팟캐스트 채널인 Brighter with Herbert에서는 지난 3월 데이브리와 1시간가량의 심도 있는 인터뷰를 진행했는데요. 인터뷰의 주된 내용은 데이브리가 생각하는 테슬라 S커브 분석을 통해 테슬라의 잠재력과 미래가치를 알아보는 내용이었습니다. 오랜 기간 동안 테슬라에 투자해온 투자자로서 테슬라를 바라보는 관점이 인사이트를 주는 내용이 많아 여러분들과 공유하고자 합니다. 오늘은 데이브리 인터뷰 핵심 내용 분석을 통해 테슬라의 현재의 강점과 미래 잠재력, 그리고 왜 테슬라가 타 자동차 업체를 압도할 수밖에 없는지 그 이유를 자세히 알아보겠습니다. 먼저 인터뷰 내용을 분석하기 전에 데이브리에 대해 간단히 살펴보겠습니다. 데이브는 데이브리 on Investing의 채널 주인으로서 테슬라 관련 분석 영상들을 올리는 테슬라 전문가입니다. 그는 테슬라에 2012년도부터 투자해 현재 100배 이상의 수익률을 올렸는데요. 그 당시 테슬라 관련 커뮤니티와 트위터에 테슬라 기업을 분석하며 미래의 주가가 왜 오를지에 대한 분석글을 올렸었습니다. 당시 분석글들이 지금의 테슬라의 상황과 맞아떨어지는 것들이 많아 테슬라 투자자들 사이에서 데이브는 상당한 인지도를 가지고 있습니다. 데이브는 현재 AI와 테슬라 FDS에 관해 집중적으로 연구하며 테슬라의 앞으로의 미래가치와 이와 관련된 시장에 대해 분석하고 있습니다. 데이브는 영상에서 자신이 만든 테슬라 S커브를 보여주며 이에 대해 자세히 알려주는데요. 먼저 데이브는 S커브에 대해 다음과 같이 설명합니다.
There's something called basically the S curve. It's a way to show technology adoption. Early on, you often have a slow kind of introduction period. Oftentimes, this is represented by early adopters are hyping the product, but the mass market does not understand it. There's still some pain points. It's still pricey. They go to other existing options already. As the technology gets cheaper and more compelling, and also as the technology presents an all-in-one solution. And this is presented in a book called Crossing the Chasm by Jeffrey Moore. Basically, the new technology has to be simple and straightforward and easy to use. And once the costs come down where it's just a no-brainer decision, that's when it starts to go up this growth curve. And there's an inflection point. And then it eventually leads to more of a maturity stage over time. And so you have different types of audiences. In the beginning, you have the super early adopters, and then it moves into the mainstream and eventually the laggards. And so this is pretty much, how technology is adopted. And there's some variations. And the most important part is why do certain technologies actually make it all the way right through this growth and maturity stage versus other technologies get stuck and they go into the graveyard. And so there's a lot of kind of philosophies and approaches where, there has to be this amazing product that not just is technologically advanced and impressive and compelling, but needs to be at the right price point, needs to deliver the right value, has to have the right simplicity, and it needs to have the right go-to-market strategy. And so all of these kind of have to come together to make, this curve a reality.
데이브는 이런 기술 수용의 S커브를 바탕으로 만들어낸 테슬라 S커브에 대해 자세히 설명해 주는데요. 화면에 보이는 4개의 그래프 중 하나인 EV 마켓에 대해서 데이브는 이렇게 설명합니다.
This S-curve is interesting because you actually have 3, I think, major S-curves within this one EV S-curve. So the first S-curve was basically the premium kind of, $70,000 to $100,000 kind of sedan and SUV market that the Model S and Model X were in. And this market, is basically Tesla's, 2012 to 2017 basically curve, where they were able to release this product and get growth in that premium market segment. And then you saw Tesla reach a maturity in that market by, let's say, 2017 or so. Some people thought, this growth is going to go on forever and you're going to have Tesla sell 200, 300,000 Model S's and all this stuff, right? But that's not the reality. Reality is oftentimes these curves, taper off. So the second major technological S-curve for EVs or for Tesla has been the Model 3. Right. And the Model Y. And so that's when you see Tesla timed it. Right when the Model S and X start going into their maturity, that's when they ramp the Model 3 and Model Y right in time, so that you see that growth, that big inflection point right when the Model S and X are going into maturity. And there's a few reasons why, Tesla did this. First off, they need to learn a lot during this first S-curve and get all the technologies down. They need to get the battery technologies, the power management, get safety down, get reliability, service centers, superchargers, get the whole package. And they need to learn enough where they can make the next big step, where their next evolution of the technology will be significantly cheaper and better. If they don't learn enough, then they're not going to make the next product cheap enough and better and good enough. And so that's why you need that you need to wait out that first curve, wait till it gets to that, slowing maturity in a sense before you release this next thing. And the next thing has to be you really have to knock it out of the park. Much cheaper, has to be better, everything. That's what Tesla did with the Model 3 and Model Y. It was their second big kind of S-curve or technology product adoption they went through. And so you saw in late 2017, Tesla go through the Model 3 ramp, and then later on, a couple years later, the Model Y ramp. And we're kind of in that phase right now. Tesla is basically at almost like a 200,000 or 2 million production run rate around. Some people think that, this is going to go on forever. Tesla's going to sell 5 or 10 million, Model 3s or something, or Model Ys. And that's not going to happen. Tesla is going to release their third kind of major technological S-curve adoption, which is this Gen 3 car, they call it, or the $25,000, maybe $30,000 car. So this car, now they have to take all of the learnings in their second, stage, or the Model 3 and Model Y, and they have to apply it all to this next generation car by reducing costs substantially, manufacturing footprint, efficiencies, all this stuff to make a much better car for a cheaper price, in a sense, to grow their market. And that's the next kind of evolution or stage of Tesla that Tesla's in, is in this third kind of S-curve. And this third S-curve is the biggest, in a sense, because the market is the biggest, because as you bring down the price of the car, you enlarge your total addressable market. And so when you think that, hey, maybe the Model 3 and Model Y can sell, 2 million a year or even a little more, then when you bring down the price significantly and you bring it down to like 30,000 or something, you're opening up major new markets. And so that's why, this third generation car could reach over 10 million people, maybe 10 to 15 million. But this is the platform, this next generation platform, to basically take Tesla to overtake Toyota and others to become the dominant automaker in the world in terms of numbers and production.
데이브는 이렇게 EV 마켓에서의 세 가지 S 커브를 설명해주며 테슬라가 현재까지 어떻게 발전을 해왔고 다음 주력 스텝으로 어떤 자동차 시장을 노리고 있는지 자세히 알려주었습니다. 하지만 이 세 가지 S커브들은 EV 마켓이라는 큰 카테고리를 세분화한 것이었는데요. 데이브는 테슬라의 다음 타겟 마켓에 대해 언급하며 타 자동차 업체들이 왜 테슬라처럼 사업 확장을 하지 못하는지 자세히 알려줍니다.
A lot of companies, they get stuck in just one market because it's really hard to find the next big thing, because there are a limited number of big markets, like $1 trillion markets in the world. You don't have like $50 trillion markets in the world. There are a very limited number, and with that, it's hard for a company oftentimes to find the next big thing because it's a crowded space. There's lots of competition. Everyone's trying to go into ancillary markets next to them. And that's where you get kind of the death spiral of a lot of companies. They get into this bureaucratic kind of maintaining management style, trying to hit these metrics, and their products aren't improving that much. They're not taking big risks. They're not going into new areas. And that's where Tesla is unique in a way, where Tesla's got the next big market. And their next big market is the full self-driving market, which is the autonomous transport market. And this market is bigger than the EV market because the way EVs or just vehicles in general are sold is they're sold as kind of these cheap hardware products where you sell them for, bare bones costs, right? Low margins. If someone was to say, I will drive you full-time as a chauffeur everywhere you want to go for the next 10 years, right? That's that value that that person can charge or give you is a lot more than the hardware of the car itself. And that's an example of why the overall transportation market is bigger than just the vehicle hardware market. It's because there's so much more. For example, trucking. A truck costs money, but the trucker, right, driving the car costs a lot more. That's why when you go to that second S curve of the of FSD, it's a larger market than EVs. It's more lucrative, and it's much more software based, where it's not necessarily manufacturing, with tons of factories and such. It's mostly hardware. It's going to be mostly AI and data. And so that's Tesla's approach. This FSD market, it's interesting. One of the questions is, will it be a winner takes most market like many software markets are? Or will there be many players, right, that kind of offer similar capabilities? I kind of lean on the side of, I think it will be a winner takes most market. I think people underestimate the complexity of the task, but also the implications, meaning one small mistake, a person dies, with full self-driving. And I think you really want the best software out there. I think so far Tesla's in the lead. They got the right approach. They got the most data. They're building, a world-class AI team, infrastructure, compute power. They have all the right pieces.
이렇게 승자 독식이 될 것으로 예상되는 FSD 마켓에서 데이블리는 왜 타 자동차 회사들이 쉽게 뛰어들지 못하는지, 또 개발 속도는 사람들의 예상보다 왜 느린지 알려주는데요. 그 내용은 다음과 같습니다.
That's why, there's two sides to this. One side is because it's so high stakes and such a dangerous endeavor, it could mean that there will be less players who are serious, meaning they're more risk averse and they're too cautious. And so it could favor the people or the companies like Tesla who go fast and forward with their plans. On the other hand, because of the nature of this super high risk field of full self-driving, it could mean that progress could be a bit slower than people anticipate or would like it to be, where you don't have as much field. Like, for example, ChatGPT can be released to tens of millions or hundreds of millions of people in a matter of months, but FSD has to have this much slower rollout, right? And it takes a lot longer to really get to this place where it's safe. And so there's pros and cons to this FSD dilemma, the problem area. But nevertheless, I think the things we have right now it's a huge market, much bigger than the vehicle hardware market. Tesla is in the lead. It's mostly a software AI data problem. Tesla has the right approach thus far.
앞으로 다가올 거대한 FSD 시장에서의 최종 승자가 누구일지는 아직 미지수이지만, 인터뷰에서도 말했듯이 현재 테슬라가 전기차 시장에서 이뤄온 기술적인 혁신들을 자세히 살펴본다면 미래의 테슬라가 현재 가지고 있는 FSD 시장에서의 주도권을 뺏기지 않을 것 같다는 예상을 하는 데에는 크게 무리가 없어 보입니다. 여러분들은 어떻게 생각하시는지 궁금합니다. 앞으로도 들어두면 더욱 유익한 테크 지식들로 찾아뵙겠습니다. 항상 감사드리고요. 영상이 좋았다면 구독과 좋아요 부탁드립니다. 감사합니다.